I wanted to bring some stuff to your attention about me that you probably didn't think of unless you know me well. Mr. Cox has spent a significant amount of time in a mosh pit. Yes. Over the past few years, I haven't really had opportunity, reasons, etc. You know, I'm busy in the professional world, etc. But I've been in a mosh pit lots of times. Been kicked out of some mosh pits, by the way. For places they didn't want people to mosh. You know, I'm not like, you know, I follow rules. I'm not trying to be just a rebel and stuff. But when it comes to those mosh pits, kind of like when it comes to racing, it's, you know, competition in vehicles, so mosh pits get to me. But it's a pretty hard concerts. I spent a few years going to like a lot of hard music Christian festivals. We used to go to this thing called Cornerstone. Last thing I knew, it is no more. It had its protractors. It had those who would picket against it and call it evil. I didn't really see evil there. You know, we had a lot of good. There were church services there. There was praise and worship there. A lot of good things. But there was hard Christian music there. A lot of hard music there. My experience, before I get on to the mosh pits, first time I went, took a youth group. Let's see, circa 1997. I think it has to be about right. Yeah. 97 or 98. I think it was 97. Went with another youth leader. Two other youth leaders. And we took some of the older youth that were of age to decide to go, or this parent went with us, just a few handful of youth. First time I've been to something like that. Now, mind you, I'd been to some secular concerts and things like that, but first, and some Christian art concerts and things like that. But it's my first like real experience at a music festival. It's raining here where I'm at now, and it makes me think about that there. I mentioned Cornerstone, I think, in another one. You know, there's mud people when it rains. Otherwise, it's hot and dry and nasty. When the mud comes, people roll in the mud and they cool off. Not me. I don't pull in the mud. Not on purpose, anyway. And then you're like in mosh pits, or you're like tight in the crowd and it's hot because it's 90-some degrees outside. Sun's bearing down. People's, you know, a few inches from all the way around. Hundreds of thousands, maybe not hundreds of thousands, but I think, I'm trying to remember how many, I think there were some 30,000 people there. I forget how many bands, a lot of bands. But then you feel something cool on you. It feels, hey, that feels good. And you look down and it's mud people wallowing around and getting nasty mud on you, and you're not happy with it. First evening there, it was the afternoon evening. We got there. We took a church van with approval of our pastor, and we had to go find a place to park and put our tents up. We each like brought our own those little tents, and it wasn't that easy. We got like in a mud flat up in there. There's trees all around. It's kind of an incline. Trees. The van's sliding towards the trees, and the woman driving the van screaming. One guy's driving the van. The woman who was the youth pastor's wife at the time, she's screaming, invoking the name of the Lord every time, because we're just about ready to hit things with the church van, and every time it just barely kept from hitting those trees. We finally got out of that, got parked. It's a nasty mess out. It's very hot and nasty and humid because it's raining, so the humidity is really high. We walked down to our first concert, our first band concert, whatever you call it, at the event. I hope it's okay if I mention their names. It's only a good light. A band called Crimson Thorn. Very heavy, hairs, you know, swinging, grind band. It's like cool and stuff. But I like to walk and watch the concert, and you turn around, and this woman, I don't know, she's probably where the parking was at, and we didn't take tents that year. We just stayed in our vehicles. I stayed on my vehicle, and each person stayed in our vehicle. There were cow patties, big, massive cow patties around. You had to keep from stepping in. But at the concerts where there wasn't cow patties. And so anyway, this woman, she's going there trying to get in. Somebody's in the bathroom. So she just turns around. It's raining. It's nasty. She just turns around and throws up in front of me. I'm sitting there thinking, why am I here? Why did I let the youth pastor's wife talk me into coming on this thing? This is awful. This is foul. This is disgusting. Yes, I like the music, but it's a muddy, rainy mess. There's people throwing up. And it's just hot and humid and nasty outside. It can only go uphill from there, in a good way. As it turned out, once I get into the flow of things, it quit raining and the sun came out next day, got things nice out. It's hot, but the ground starts drying up most places except a few of the mud dwellers where the mud people like to dwell. You gotta watch out for the mud people and their dwellings. Then, of course, I'm being facetious, silly, ridiculous, joking. It's not a hazard. You don't need to picket it. No reason to try to shut it down. So, I ended up spending probably, I can't say for sure, probably more time at more concerts than anybody with us, including the youth that were with us, because they would come home, or when I say home, back to their tents. We had there were thousands of tents there. We had our tents in a cluster, so we're in a general area with each other. And they would all be in bed by the time I get back, maybe 3:30 in the morning. They were in bed. I stayed for the last concerts. It was awesome, dude. Then I would take my shower, because if you try to get up in the morning and take a shower, everybody's there. The water is nasty, extra nasty. But the water's cold by 3:34 in the morning, 5 o'clock, whatever time it was. I actually got the shower. I clean up and go to bed, but it's kind of funny because I'm something of a pack rat, and if I go somewhere, I've got all kinds of stuff with me. And even now, I got cargo pants with pockets all over, and I got multiple jackets on with zippers and snaps and backpacks. There's all kinds of compartments. This one dude that went with me, I think he was 18, 19 at the time. He's over there. He told me afterwards, he goes, he could never get to sleep for so long because I would come back last after they're, in bed trying to sleep, because I was like that, tripping the light fantastic, head grinding, and they're all in it, they're in bed asleep, and he would hear zip, 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 dig, 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 zip, zip, snap, dig, snap, and it would go on forever, and it was about drove me nuts too, because I couldn't find anything. I had to take stuff to brush my teeth, to floss my teeth, I had to take some wet wipes, food, drink, medicine, everything you would need had to be there, plus all the clothing. But the trip was awesome. Hey, we went there every year for a few years. And the one time we were there, they set up this really cool thing. Our group did. Just a few people from our group. It was the second year we went. They put a sign outside that said a man eating chicken. And they had a sign to look in there and see when people, all these thousands of people from these other youth groups, and people just there on their own, people that they poke their head in to see, and my friend would be in there eating chicken. It was the man eating chicken. I don't know how he stood the heat. It was nasty hot. No, summer. We had Zords with us. He wore a shirt that said, "I'm Zords," from the planet Uranus. Of course, most of us know that that's probably pronounced Uranus. But he got a lot of attention. Everybody talked like he was an alien, and he was just a dude from our youth group. He had a really cool mullet pulled back. Zords. So we had all kinds of good things like that going on. All kinds of awesome concerts. I was in a lot of mosh pits. There was a lot of crowd surfing. Now, I'm a little too big to be crowd surfing. I'm not massive, but I'm too big. I'm 6'2", and I don't know what it was. Then, probably 210, something like that. I've been up and down the scale most of my life, but it's not a good idea to jump off the stage. I saw that happen one year. I was at one of these concerts, but this dude was bigger than me. 250, 280, something like that. The crowd wasn't, you got to make sure there's a good, thick crowd of strong people to do this, especially for that size. I wouldn't recommend it at all. He jumps off the stage. Instead of my catching him, the crowd just spread out. He just went face down into the dirt, because these are dirt floors. He's out in the open tents. I'm sure it hurt bad. Thankfully, he got up and lived. It was alright, but yeah, we were in this one concert. This really super cool band named Tourniquet. I liked them for their stands on animal rights too, but at the time they had like the best drummer in the world, and he had this multiple drums, all these drum parts. He'd get up, he'd just walk around his drums and do this really cool set. And his set was like, instead of having double basses set up just two mallets with two, he had actual two basses, because he comes back from a little older school. And that awesome band. We were there, and two of my friends were in the mosh pit. I sat and I went out. It was so hot that day. I got set up on the stage. They let people. It was really cool, man. There's their speakers and all their stuff up there, and their speaker cases. They just let people sit on the stage with them. We were all up there sitting there. I was watching this. I sat back behind the drums so I could watch it, and I could see him play the drums. Ted Kirkpatrick, cool, awesome. And so we get out, and I'm down now on the ground level. Two of my friends are in the mosh pit. When they come out, one of them has a long hair on the back of his shirt attached to what appears to be a small piece of bloody skin. He threw that shirt away. I was in another place. It was more of a dance pit. It was dancing to the ska music. Firearm Frenzy. Hey, dancing to that music, had a good time. Again, I was out late at night. Everybody else in our group was went back to bed. I stayed up. I went to see them, and that wasn't enough. I went to see Stavesacre afterwards. Awesome band too. But was at this concert. I was at Firearm Frenzy, and I'm not kidding. In the daytime, but even in the nighttime, it's so hot and humid. You'd look up, and the moisture from everybody there, it's condensating on the top of the tent, and the tents are sweating and dripping sweat. Everybody's a foul, sweaty mess. I'm kind of something of a germaphobe and clean freak to the point. A teenager that I didn't know, a boy, turned around and looked at me. His sweat was all over him. He took his face and wiped it all over my t-shirt. I'm like, I didn't say anything, but normally I took my stuff back and washed it that night. That one went in the trash. He was probably fine, but that was disgusting. But there were a lot of good times, a lot of good concerts, a lot of good shows, a lot of good things happening. Oh yeah, there was a rumor that year went around. Some people claimed they were in a really wild mosh pit. Now, and mostly, if you go to some concerts, some of the death metal concerts and some of the heavy metal concerts and stuff, where they're not Christian, some people like try to hurt each other. We had a few people do that, but people pull back and get out and not let them do it. People wear big spikes into the pit. That wasn't the case in most of these, because these were Christian concerts. They were not trying to hurt each other. They were dancing for fun, moshing for fun, not trying to hurt or kill each other. Nobody fell. You helped them up. You didn't grind them into the dust and bloody them. I had my rounds of falling in a mosh pit too, getting my shoes kicked off, and I had to crawl around at the bottom of the mosh pit and find my shoes so I could get up and put them on. It was cool and stuff. Yeah, cool and stuff. So anyway, there was this rumor. These people said that they were at this concert, and in the mosh pit, they got wild, and somebody ripped a dude's nipple ring. He had nipple piercing. Ripped it out by accident because he was flailing and grabbed it and ripped it. And he's like, "Sorry, dude." He's like, "It's alright, man. It's cool." And they went on moshing. I have trouble believing that story. If that would have happened, he would have screamed. I don't know, it's like a little kid. And blood would have been spewing. That would have been the end of that mosh pit for the person that pulled the ring out and the person that had it pulled out. Somebody probably would have been going to the doctor Yeah, but that was the rumor. There were half pipes set up for like the more the skating music and the MXPX area and all those kind of bands. I can't think of the names of the other ones right now. Slick Shoes back in the day. These bands that were like more about skating and that scene. It had half pipes set up. People could go out there and skate, and so that was going on. There were the gothic scene. I spent a lot of time in it too because I like the heavy music, dude. Heavier the better. Wedding Party played one night. Dark, the wind's blowing. It's it's been so hot. It's the cool wind. It just felt awesome. And you see the full moon up there, and it's just awesome. And Wedding Party's flying to get these torches, and they're playing. It was groovy, man. It was cool. It was rad. It was beautiful. It was awesome. Oh yeah. That year, the second year, we did this stupid thing. It started running for fitness with some of my friends, and I pushed it too far and got a stress fracture. And I went to Cornerstone anyway, and I was on a lot of ibuprofen training, but I hobbled from concert to concert all through the thing because I didn't want to miss this thing. I was out on ibuprofen. I mean, loads of ibuprofen, and like there's a couple concerts I went to sleep in. I'm kidding you not. Like Living Sacrifice, one of my favorite bands there. Just brutal sounding, intense, loud music. I went to sleep in one of their concerts because I found a chair. Usually there's a chair, and because my legs hurting, I sat down. Boom! And I woke up like halfway through the set. Halfway through the show, actually. I went to. Strong Arm was cool. I went to Savior Machine. Hadn't seen them before. Went to see them. I'd seen them a few times since that. Christian like gothic band, but they would go like to the Book of Revelation and stuff, and it was really cool. I went to sleep in the concert because we were sitting down. I was sitting down with a group of people that was with us, and again, and he gets some of it is like boom, 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 and it's all intense and cool and hard, and then he'll like mellow out these little opera things. And I just went to sleep during that. Yeah, but before they were on, Goliath played, which used to be another band. Before his name was Goliath. I liked the sound of that band. He had riffs and his bass riffs in his voice. It sounded a lot. It wasn't like trying to copy or this, but it reminded me of Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne that I used to listen to for years before that. And so I liked that music. I can't think for anything what their name was before. I can see it. Midnight Orchestra. They were Midnight Orchestra before they were Goliath. They also had Wedding Party, did some background vocals and music for some of their sets, so on the actual CDs and DVDs. So yeah, man, I'll do another video. I'm talking sets of music now. I'll do another one where I'll talk about the gothic music scene and Christian music, and and other. It's big in the secular. There's still a lot of goth and stuff like that. We'll talk about that, but I'm gonna get off here now. I've been talking more about the headbanging set and stuff like that. So yeah, Mr. Cox used to mosh a lot. Throwing out some mosh pits where they didn't allow us to mosh. And come out to the crowd with a big flashlight and point me out. I'd sneak around, wait till that person went away, go to another place, come back in, till they finally completely threw me out of the concert. We weren't doing anything bad. Some of my friends, and actually I was even moshing with some kids like from some other youth groups and stuff. Yeah, I'll give it up with that. I'll catch you in another video. Mr. Cox out. Hit.